Alright, today on 70's Big, I'm going to give you a can't miss recipe for making a good brisket. Now it's about 9:30 at night, I've already got my fire going, so all I have to do is prep my meat. If you've read anything I've written, you've realized that I think brisket is pretty much a staple of anybody's diet that wants to keep and maintain and build lean mass. It's a great Texas delicacy, and it's made 70's big guys, everybody from Doug Young to Ronnie Coleman. So I'm going to give y'all a very easy recipe. Brisket's great for 70's big because it's pretty much all protein and fat. Lots of protein, a good bit of fat, and no carbs. If you don't want to put any barbecue sauce on, you don't have to worry about any carbs. It's easy to make. All you have to do is get a decent bit of meat. You want to get a packer trim. You don't want the market trim. Market trim cuts all the fat off. And you see the packer trim's going to have a good bit of fat on the back. That's the fat cap. Don't take that off. Some people trim that and leave an inch or so. Just leave your fat cap on because you're going to cook with your fat on top. All the juices are going to run down, give that some good flavor, and make you a great brisket. You can rub whatever you want on it. A little bit of oil. You can use a Dalmatian rub, that's just salt and pepper. A lot of people do that here. You can use a commercial rub like I'm going to do. This is Stubbs. It's a good mix of spices from down in the hill country. Good barbecue comes out of there. Or you can make your own. And really, if you make your own, just stick with the basics. Salt and pepper. You can mix some paprika up there. Whatever else you want. Just don't trick up your rub too much. You want the meat to speak for itself. Most important thing with brisket, you want to cook it long enough and you don't want to get it too hot. It's not like cooking pork where you know, a pork might be a more forgiving meat, whereas a brisket, if you spend too long over 250 degrees, you're going to get a tough meat and all your people are going to be pissed. It's not going to be any good. So what we have right here, again, it's a packer trim meat. You can see this is Justin's. I'm going to do up right here. Put it on in just a few minutes. This one is a 13-pound brisket. His is a little bit over 10 since he's eating one. It'll take him about 3 days to get through it. And you're going to take it out of the cryovac. I've already done that here. And when you take it out, it might have a little bit of odor. So if you want to wash it with some white vinegar and water, that's fine. Best thing to do, you can just rinse it, water only, let it sit. You're going to be fine. And from there, all I do, it's a real easy thing. Take some regular yellow mustard, just squirt that mess all over it, rub it around. And the reason you do that, mustard gives it a little bit of a tangy flavor. It gives it a surface for your rub to stick to and give you some good flavor. And it's also going to give you a little bit of a bark. It's going to be like a little bit of skin when you take it off the smoker, and that's going to make it pretty good. So I'm going to put down yellow mustard, no big deal. I am rubbing basically the meat side as opposed to the fat side. Don't worry about rubbing a lot of this stuff on the fat side because you're going to be cutting the fat cap off after it's smoked. And really, you'll see in about 20 hours or so when we take it off the smoker, we don't have to cut anything. We can just take a knife, rake it off because it's going to be so tender. Very nice. So you get that all done up with your mustard. Then you take your rub, whatever you want. We're using Stubbs, and you just put that mess all over it. You want to season the crap out of it. If you're using, you know, if you're only using your Dalmatian rub with salt and pepper, I like kosher salt, but be careful with that. You don't want to get too much kosher salt on because if it's a salt-only rub, you can overdo it real quick and you're not going to have a good tasting piece of meat. It's just going to be all salty. So you get that done up. If you want to put some on the fat side, that's fine, but there's no reason to protect it. Once I put it on the smoker, I'll go ahead and throw some rub on there, but don't worry about giving it a bark or any of that flavor because all you're going to do is have fat juice running down. And really, guys, this is it. It takes, once you get out of the cryovac, it's taking about a minute to prepare. Throw your mustard on, throw your rub on, pat it around, because this is the side that goes down, and just let it sit for a few minutes. Make sure your fire is good and squared away. I like 220, about 210 to 220. Smoke it for around 18 to 22 hours, and we'll pull it off, and you'll see tomorrow we're going to have a great piece of meat.